That's pathetic, man. I want to play a video. You guys got my video? Anybody? All right. Now, obviously, we're sitting in here talking about rhetoric and how it fuels violence against officers. For you guys that represent so many officers around the country, what do you think it means to people that, are out there watching and listening, watching social media, watching the news, and they see a member of Congress who sits on this committee go out there and behave like that?
Hello. Welcome. This is ridiculous. A witness sit before the United States Congress, swear an oath, and then claim with a straight face that America has a secret police force abducting people based on skin color. And when Eli Crane called him out on it, word for word from his own testimony, he just sat there and said, yep, like it was nothing. Crane didn't flinch. He came loaded with the legal code, a video, and the kind of moral clarity that is almost extinct in that building. This is what happens when the radical left's defund the police insanity walks into a congressional hearing room and meets someone who refuses to let it slide. Like this video right now, subscribe and stay to the end because we are breaking down every single moment of this beatdown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding this hearing today on how anti-law enforcement rhetoric fuels violence against officers. I want to thank you also to the panel for showing up today. I also want to point out that Mr. Goldman was just, talking to Mr. Thompson about how these agents, get up every day and they're not putting on uniforms. And then he showed several videos, and I want to point out that 90% of the law enforcement officers in those videos were, in fact, wearing uniforms. Now I want to pivot to you, Mr. Hodges. In your opening testimony today, I want to read through some of the transcript that you provided the committee. You said, "I've been on the receiving end of threats and violence due to the work I've done in the name of the law." Did you say that in your opening testimony?
Yes.
You also said in paragraph 4, law enforcement is predicated on the notion that we are a nation of laws. Did you say that as well in your opening testimony?
Yep.
And then you say on the second page, "The fact of the matter is that right now in the United States of America, there is a secret police force abducting people based on the color of their skin." Did you say that as well?
Yep.
You really believe that?
Yep.
So you don't think that our law enforcement officers are going out and trying to arrest people who are here illegally that are also have been convicted of crimes? You don't think that that's what they're doing?
I think they do that sometimes, sure.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. And it's funny because you say in your testimony that I've been on the receiving end of threats and violence due to the work I've done in the name of the law, yet you're sitting here and you're saying that these law enforcement officers, you're fueling the same rhetoric, and now people are going to come after them for that. Do you agree with that, Mr. Thompson?
100%.
Mr. Hughes? What about you, Mr. Yos?
Absolutely.
And I appreciate your service. I do. I know it's not easy to put on a badge, but I can't believe you would sit here and say that. You would complain about the treatment that you've received because of the work that you've done in the name of the law, and then you have the audacity to come in here and say that these men and women, federal law enforcement officers, are going out there abducting people because of the color of their skin?
Yes.
Yeah, that's rich, and it's pathetic, and you should be ashamed of yourself. It's funny because I got a buddy of mine who doesn't have the same color of skin that I have, who's texting me right now during this hearing, watching you. Guy worked in the Border Patrol for a long time, and he told me, he texted me, that's a slap in the face to all of us who go out there and fight against cartels and criminals each and every day. You're trying to make it about color of skin, and we all know at the end of the day, there are so many law enforcement officers, great law enforcement officers that represent all of our communities that have every color of skin out there. They pray to different gods, and they're just trying to do their job. Do you find that ironic that you're actually doing the same thing that you're complaining about in your opening statement? Is that lost on you, Mr. Hodges?
I don't understand the question.
Yeah, I figured you wouldn't. Immigration and Nationality Act. The Immigration and Nationality Act, INA, gives the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, broad authority over immigration enforcement, detention, and removal. DHS agencies like ICE, CBP, USCIS exercise powers delegated under the INA, including arresting, detaining, interrogating, and removing non-citizens who are in violation of immigration laws. That's exactly what they're doing. They're actually carrying out the laws that we pass in this country. That's pathetic, man. I want to play a video. You guys got my video? Anybody? All right. Now, obviously, we're sitting in here talking about rhetoric and how it fuels violence against officers. For you guys that represent so many officers around the country, what do you think it means to people that, are out there watching and listening, watching social media, watching the news, and they see a member of Congress who sits on this committee go out there and behave like that?
First off, hats off to Eli Crane. He sat there and listened to Dan Goldman and this witness, Mr. Hodges, spin a tale that sounds like it's from a dystopian novel, not modern-day America.
Eli Crane did something rare in Washington. He told the truth out loud and refused to apologize for it. This witness, Hodges, sat there and called ICE and Border Patrol a secret police force running abduction squads based on race. And Crane did what every Republican in that room should have done. He read the man's own words back to him, cited the Immigration and Nationality Act chapter and verse, and then asked the most obvious question in the world. Do you not see that you are doing the exact thing you are complaining about? Hodges didn't have an answer, because there isn't one. These are federal law enforcement officers enforcing laws passed by Congress. They are not a secret police. They are not kidnappers. They are agents going after illegal immigrants with criminal records, fighting cartels, and putting their lives on the line every single day. And they have to come home and turn on the news and hear elected officials call them racists. Crane's buddy texting from the Border Patrol said it perfectly. It is a slap in the face. And it is. It is a deliberate, calculated slap in the face designed to radicalize the public against the very people keeping this country safe. And then that video. A sitting member of Congress screaming in the faces of federal agents, like, "She owns the street." That is not protest. That is not oversight. That is a lawmaker physically intimidating law enforcement and daring them to do their jobs. If an ordinary citizen did that, they would be in handcuffs. But because she has a congressional badge, the left calls it brave. Crane called it what it is, pathetic. Thompson and Yo confirmed what we already know. This rhetoric gets cops killed. Assaults on agents are rising, families are being threatened, and officers are being doxxed because the left has convinced an entire movement that Border Patrol agents are the villains. That blood is on the hands of every politician and every witness who keeps feeding this lie. Eli Crane was the only adult in that room, and he proved it.